how's everything? How's life? How's Colombo?
Okay.
All okay?
Yeah.
Time to go around and see the country.
Yeah.
No time.
How
Short
about-
time.
I don't know. Not sure. That should be okay.
Only afternoon only, right?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. Good enough.
Both, like for two things, or go around and to study something.
Yeah.
Okay. Today we are going to talk about the budget itself. What is the budget and how to the principle for this budget, and there are problems. There are some problems we face when we prepare our budget. Common issues. How to avoid this issue. How to solve it. Then we talk about other types of budget. There's approach also for budget and type of budget. So all these we're going to see in the today topic, which is really started, as we all know, the budget and actual. So budget is, as we said, plan outline what our expected income versus our expected expenses for example 1 year, 2 years, 1 month, or sometimes can be any period, but it's matching between our revenue or our income versus our expenses. So to do that, we know we need what we call it the estimation. So budget is about doing the estimation of our future revenue or income versus our future expenses. So we need to estimate. We need to forecast. Okay. So some people they are not doing forecasting. They use historical data, which means the last year budget, and just they do some calculation and they put out the figure. But the budget should be based on we need to have what we call forecasting of these two items, which is our income and our expenses. So means forecast is one of the things we can use to prepare our budget. Okay. So these are the difference between this forecast and budget. So budget is about expressing our financial plan in the quantitative term. So while that forecasting involves analyzing the past data and estimate the future outcomes. Okay. So budget here we are only we put a plan in the numerical figure term about our income and our expenses. But these figures is based on what we call forecasting. Okay, so we have forecasting. To do it, you need to have data. So you cannot ask the software to do forecasting for you without any inputs. You have to tell him, this is my last year, for example, budget, or last few years budget forecast for me next year. So he will do it by doing analysis. For example, like what this forecasting do? You look for the last 3 years, for example. You compare first year and second year. Okay, for example, your revenue in the first year is 1 million. In 2 years, 1.5. In the third year is 2. Means your revenue or increased by 500,000 every year. So for this year, he will give you 2.5. Why? Because the last year increased by the same figure. Okay. So this is what the forecasting is doing. But he do analysis, okay, based on the historical data. So it's budget is a financial presentation of our company's business plan. So it's you present your business plan in finance terms. Okay, but the forecast helps to predict trends in the business. Okay, it tells you how's your revenue is going to be, how is your expenses going to be increased or decreased based on the inputs you have given to the system or software. So in budget, you are involved setting up of the targets for costs and expense. Okay, you have the target like what we said yesterday. Okay, we need to spend, for example, for this marketing, we have to do, for example, 5 campaigns. Okay, that's our target. But in budgeting, okay, the forecast does not involve any setting up for target, because you don't have target. You are more what you call it, more independent. He don't give you any target, and he don't look for your favor. Okay, because it's analysis software analyze the outcomes you have, the inputs you have given to him. And budget are less flexible and do not change unless there is a change in the assumption. Okay, so our items will be the same unless, for example, oh, we have to increase this, for example, this expense for this year because for 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, but in the forecasting, they are more flexible, and companies make changes to frequently. Okay, so it's not like a more rigid, they call it rigid. Budgets sometimes are very rigid, it means it's not flexible. So we just follow whatever we have in the last year, with regardless we need that items or need that money or not. So we just follow that, the last year. Budget is generally done for the entire year. It's an annual activities, but in the forecasting, done quarterly, in quarterly basis, or twice a year. Budgeting is wider in scope. It's not only applicable for finance field. Forecasting has a limited scope and is mostly related to business organization. Budget is more about fixed target which is company wants to achieve. Forecasting is more of an estimate which is the company may achieve. This is what your estimation. Okay, because forecasting, like in our budget, actually we do forecasting. Our budget, for example, we forecast that we are going to increase, forecasting that's okay, using the social media can give us, increase in our sales by 5%. So this is forecasting. Okay, actually it's not our objective here. Okay, now let's say that my business is okay, I'm doing okay, but somebody told you if you are using social media, your sales will increase by 5%. Now this is a forecasting. Okay, so it's not within your budget. It's nothing to do about your budget. It's nothing to do with your business objective. There's nothing. It's just okay. You find a chance. Okay, your business is going to be this if you are using this one. Okay, so you are doing here. So it's just about okay. Why I don't use it? So my sales will increase. Let's try it. Okay, but in the budget, no. Budget is something you need to achieve. Okay, you have to achieve. So it's a tactical tools which is a budget, which is helping managing operation here. It's a strategic tool, which is the forecasting, which assists to check future performance. Okay, so actually budget is nothing to do with our performance. It's just only to do what we call it, plan our operation. Okay, your plan for managing your operation. Okay, which means that these two are very related. Budget, when we do our budgeting, we are using forecasting. Okay, but budget is not forecasting. Okay, in budget, you are not only forecast. You do some forecast, yes. We have some forecast in our budget, and it's usually this forecasting. For example, as we said here, it's all about our future performance. Like for example, I want to invest in stocks. Okay, what is my return? Your return is, for example, 10%. Okay, now where does this 10% come from? From forecasting. Okay, there's nothing to do with budget. Budgets have nothing to do with that. The same things here in our company. So we are expecting that we are going to achieve something So this budget, this forecasting will help you. Is this objective is attainable or not? So you can achieve it or not. Okay. So there is a very a lot of confusion, between this forecasting and budgeting. Okay, but they are really total different things. But both are, can be used, or budget can use forecasting. Okay, so forecasting is one of the tools that help us to prepare our budget. Okay, so there are two, in terms of budgeting, there are two types or two methods to prepare our budget. One is from top down, one is bottom up budgeting. So top down, it means that top management or senior manager was the one who create our budget, and they send it down to the down or lower management. So this method is okay as based on the strategy goals, because those people in the top management, these people at the top management, they know about the strategic objectives, because they are the one who set up these objectives. So once I set up this objective, I know so how to spend, or I will prepare my financial resources, or relocate my financial resources to achieve these goals. Okay, so this is the kind of budget like what we said yesterday when we talk about strategic, right? We were strategic about management level, business level, and operation level, or the function level. So this is the same here. We have some budgets that come from top down, okay, and the other budget is the other way around. But in this approach, it's the budget here prepared by those who are closest to the operation, and especially in the bottom line. Okay, so now we have the top one is top management preparing, bottom down is the lower level management, the one who prepare this one. But these people are very close to the operation, especially when you have budget from bottom up. Okay. So now, which one is good? Which one is better? Is it bottom up or it's top down? So every one of these two, they have their own advantage and disadvantage. So you can't say that, oh, that one is all the time okay and this one is. So top down one, the management will decide about our budget, but the one is okay. What are the advantage and what's so good about each of these to approach? Top down one, the advantage is senior manager has a clear overview of the budget, and they align it with the strategic goals. Okay, they know what is the strategic goals, so they allocate or they align this budget with those goals to achieve those goals. But the bad things about that one is that in the departments heads have better, disadvantage here can be demotivating for the departments heads who feel their inputs is not valid. Okay, and also sometimes this kind of budget, top down one, sometimes it looks not realistic, because they allocate resources is not based on our operation needs. Okay, sometimes they look at it is not realistic, and because it's not taken into account the inputs of operation level. Okay, on the other hand, top down one, the good things about it, those people who have better understanding about the operations, okay, and what they call it, ownership of the budget. They can, when you talk about ownership and the budget means my budget, I have to allocate it. Okay, my departments, for example, in marketing, I'm in marketing. So you give me a budget, so I allocate it in my own way. But they give you a budget from top down, up there, where to spend. So you just follow the way they are. But if they give me a freedom, I can spend it wisely. It's the same amount actually. It's the same amount, but you give it to me, I am the one who's going to allocate it. Okay. So in this case, once you feel it's your ownership, once you feel your opinion is respected, okay. So, but this one is the bad things about this. It takes, sometimes it's take a bit time. Because top management down people, they have to sit down and allocate all the resources. And this one here, it's more realistic. Okay, you won't even, people will not complain. We run out of budget. We run out. That's the term I use. There's no money, no money, no money. Why there's no money? Because the budget is set up by the top management and it's already finished. Okay, but once they do it, they cannot say that. Why? Because they will be questioned for that. Okay, we give you a freedom to allocate your budget. Now you said there is no money. How? Okay, actually, this one is put them under, a huge stress, especially low level management. Okay, but if it's come from the top down, okay, they're more relaxed. They spend according to the one, and any question, go and ask top management. This is not my budget. Okay, but the problem is that sometimes this budget, bottom up, is not aligned with the strategic goals. Okay, they spend based on their needs, their operation needs. So there is a gap between these two. Time consuming, as we said, because it's aggregate all departments' budget into overall budget. So you have to ask everyone to prepare his budget, and it takes time. But from the top down, it's prepared by the same group and the same session. Okay, but every one of these two, they have advantage and disadvantage. So which one you want to use? So there's no answer here. Okay, so every one of these two, and depends in the, we mentioned yesterday, we are talking about the modern management style. Okay, and the modern management style, actually, the budget will be a bit different from these two. You know why? Because the budget can come from both sides, from top management, because these people they don't have so many layers. Okay, they're all working together. So that budget, I think, it can overcome both disadvantage for these two groups. Okay, but so far nobody implemented that approach. Especially in the public sector. In the private sector, yes. So in this budget here, as you said, these are the few, the process of budgeting. First, we need to go plan, which is based on our goals, okay, the strategic goals, coordinating, align the budget with the various departments. Then we control, this is your task, I think, your job, and then number 3, level right, which is the monitor actual performance against budget and making adjustment as necessary to stay on track. Okay, so your task here is to make sure that we don't go out of the track, we get lost. Okay, and to do that, there's a lot of things need to be done. Okay, the most important one here is to review. Okay, the review is the key, to be for things to be under control, it has to be under review. Okay. Then I have what you call it, the evaluation. What is the process? Okay, effectiveness of budget. So these are the steps we have here. So first things, we need to estimate our year income. So first one, review historical, as we said, data. Look at your historical data, past year revenue stream, to identify the trend, okay, and the patterns. Number 2, forecast sales and revenue. So first things, you need to have data inputs, okay, because in traditional costing, we cannot do anything if we don't have historical data. For example, if you set up your company today, and you want to prepare your budget based on the traditional traditional budget, you cannot do it. Why? Because you don't have historical data. It's a new company. In this case, you have to use what we call zero-based budgeting. From zero, start everything from zero. Okay. Or you can look for these companies who have similar activities to your company. Then you use them as a benchmark, okay, to prepare your budget. So once based on this data, now we do forecasting. You see, Just now we talk about forecasting. So forecasting is this, it's used here in the budgeting, which is about our sales and revenue. Okay, how much is your sales going to growing, and the growth or decline in your sales is based on what you have to do, market condition, okay, the economy, Then you have your customer. Are you going to increase your customer or not? Are you going to lose your customer? You also market share. How much does your company have share? The price of your products. So all these factors you have to include when you want to, not only, okay, last year my sales is, last year is 2 years ago is 1 million, then it go to 1.5, so this year it has to be 2 million. No, it cannot be this way. This is the traditional way. But if you don't do forecasting, if to forecast your sales, there's a few conditions you need to, or few factors you need to study. The market condition, what is your market share, for example, okay? Also your competitors, customer, okay, the price, the price of your products. So all these things is the one you have to analyze all, and you come out with one figure about your sales. Okay. Then what is your stream of your revenue or sales? Okay, which is list all the potential sources, okay, of income, including product sales, service fees, grants, investment, and other revenue generated activities. Okay, so now the stream of your, okay, I find out my sales is going to be, for example, 1 million. Okay, for this 1 million here, is it net sales? Is there any other sales you have? What is the, for example, to get these sales, you're going to pay for marketing, you're going to pay for raw materials, there are so many things you're going to deduct from your sales. Then you have to account for the new initiatives. Okay, for example, here you have to include potential income from the new products, okay, services that are planned for the budget period. So is there any new products or any service you're going to provide within this year? Because you see, and most of the companies, they make a sales today, but there is a some after sales income. Okay, for example, they do what you call it maintenance. Okay, that can be either income or it can be expenses. Okay, so these things you have to include, in your budget. Adjust for risk. Okay, is there any risk here? For example, maybe new competitors will come in, economics downturn, market competitions, regulatory changes. So all these things can happen anytime. Okay, if these things happen, is it going to affect your income or not? So these things need to be considered. Like, for example, what happened in COVID. Nobody expected that there's going to be COVID and his sales is going to be all companies in that year, all with the exception of none, have this problem, okay, about their budgeting. So they expect to have sales, but sales become zero. Okay. But their expenses are there. Okay, so this is a big issue they are facing. Okay, after you estimate your sales, now you identify your expenses, your costs. So here we are to ensure comprehensive coverage of our costs and facilitate effective financial planning. Categorize your expenses. Number one, group expenses. For example, you have fixed costs, variable costs, and discretionary spending. So now in our costing, then we have to identify some cost is increased with the volume of sales or production. Some sales are there with regardless of your production of sales, okay, which is a fixed cost. Now these things need to be estimated or identified first. Okay. After you identify it, you have to review historical expense data. For example, here, past year expense records to identify trend and predict the future spending patterns. Okay, actually here in our costing here, we are doing the same thing about revenue. Revenue, you do forecasting. Okay, if you look at sales here, they don't say forecast, they say estimate. You see here? Number 2, forecast sales and revenue. But in your sales, number 3 here, you estimate your costs. Cost cannot be forecast. Why it cannot be forecast? Because cost is based is inside decision of the company. It's nothing to do with the other factors. It's based on our spending. So in this case, need to be estimated. Okay, for example, you have to predict what's the cost that fluctuates with the business activities such as production costs, shipping costs, and sales commissions. These costs can be go up and down, which is variable costs. Okay, the fixed costs actually is nothing to be done about that fixed costs. Okay, unless it doesn't mean nothing to be done. You have to copy and paste as it is. No, you have to rationalize it. Okay, do we need this amount of fixed costs in this year or not? So it can be, some of these costs can be cut down. Then you have to consider one-time expense. For example, identify, include any one-time or non-recurring expenses such as equipment purchase or special events. Especially we're talking about what we call capital expenses. So it's happen only once. Okay, but this cost, some costs we have, is based on our operations or productions. But some expense you only pay once a year, only one. For example, insurance. Okay, you pay only once. You want to buy, for example, machine, you pay only once. And you have to consider here, you have to look very carefully. These costs or this expense, some are capital expense, some are operating expense. So they are not same. And there's a huge difference between these two. And if you don't identify these two, your budget will not be accurate. Okay, because later on I will show you there are so many types of budget. Okay, one of these budget you call it capital budgeting. Okay, this capital budgeting is about your investment, about your capital expenses, but the other budget is all about your operational expenses. Then you have to do what you call it, include a contingency plan. For example, unexpected expense can happen anytime. Some things can pop up like that. So you have to find figures for something that may happen. Something unlikely may happen. If you don't include these things, you will run out of budget. Okay, for example, you will have accident happen, suddenly your operation stop, okay, or you lose some of your income. So all these things you need to consider. Okay, not 100% like what you expected, but now we did everything in the right place. If everything's go nicely, this is our budget. But are you sure everything will be okay? Are you sure? Nobody's sure, right? Unlike things may happen. Okay, in this case, if the bad things happen, there is a risk for everything, right? So now you have a risk for anything of your items can go up higher than your expectation, right? Or maybe something new may happen. For example, you have contract with one of your supplier, and this is very common. Okay, then that supplier, by chance, he declared bankrupt. Okay, now you have to look for a new contractor. New contractor last minute, always the price will be higher. Okay, the price is always maybe at least 1.3% higher than that. If something you want to buy for 1 million, now the new price will be 1.3 million minimum. So, and if these things happen, what are you going to do? Oh, you don't have, oh, actually our budget finished, now we don't have for that. You cannot say that. Okay. So in this case, you have to prepare what they call it, what are the contingency plan. Okay. You can make some saving from here and there, you can, but it may affect their operation. Okay, it may affect maybe other operations. Okay, you cannot, have your budget, for example, 10 million, and contingency plan also 10 million. No, cannot be like this way. So it has been, for example, maybe 10% of your budget. Okay, if your budget is, for example, 10 million, so the contingency plan will be 1 million. So usually the companies, they have their figure for, they already have it. Okay, for the things that price can go up, maybe we already take into account the inflation factor. Okay, but things may go higher than what we expected. Okay, so our supplier may be failing to deliver to us. Like, for example, there is one company, there's a project, there's in Oman, that company I told you, they have a project to build up a shopping center. Okay. And one of the contractor, the outsourcing, to fix up the aircon, aircon, the central one. Yeah. So to fix up the central, because in the contract, in the project, you have people by stage, For example, people, they make a plan first, then they start digging, they make a base, infrastructure for the mall or for the building. Then the other contractor will come in to put up, like, for example, wiring or whatever. Then after that, the cement people and decor will come to cover all these things. There's a different companies. And for their operations already scheduled, the projects for 2 years. Okay. For example, the first 1 year will finish all the structure for the building. Okay, finish. Then the other contractor will come in. Aircon, decor, windows, all these things. One of these contractors is the aircon one. Okay, that one, he is declared bankrupt, and he cannot, do anything to deliver that. And if he don't come on time, the other people cannot do their work. And to do that one, it takes at least 6 months. Because all the equipment machine is imported from overseas. Okay. So now, if these people contractor don't come on time, the company have to pay them. Okay. What they call it, the compensation for delay of the operation. And at the end, the cost of the projects is already behind, 1.5 is higher than the total cost they got from the owner. If the cost, for example, the owner give you 10 million to finish 100 million, now your cost has become 120 million. It's lost. Luckily, that company is under what they call it, ABF, the pension fund company. They do take this project, and that one is a semi-government company. So these companies, the semi-government means they have got linked to that government, and government can pressure this contractor, So
You have the authority.
Authority, okay. If they can pay you the punishment, okay, but I also punish you.
Yeah.
I have your all figures,
Yeah.
So it's a win-win situation. Imagine this company is a private. Okay, imagine this company is a private. So how much loss they will make?
Yeah.
So working 2 years for no return, not only no return, you make a loss. For example, 20 million loss. Why is this happen? This is very painful cost. Okay, and no budget can cover that. Nobody can cover that. Expect that your loss will be like this high much. Okay, but you can in the normal things, like in COVID nobody can avoid, but in normal things will be very close to your contingency plan. Okay. Then the last things now we have to, is there any surplus or deficit in our budget between this income and our expenses. You determine whether you have surplus on. First things, you have to combine income and expense together. Okay, summarize your total income with total expense, and then you calculate the surplus. Can be the income is higher than expense, means you have surplus. If the expense is higher than your income, you have what you call deficit. And you have to analyze the result, okay, to see that whether this surplus or deficit align with the strategic goals and financial targets. Then adjust budget as needed. Okay, so some budget need to be adjust and reallocate your resources. Okay, because all this one we have now, we are today, I have it now, this is my budget. Now I'm not comparing actual with the budget. Now I'm only comparing two, my income with my expense. This happened in the same day you prepare your budget. Okay, we don't start our operation yet. We just now I estimate all my forecast, all my revenue, estimate all my expense. Then I do calculation. Is my income enough to cover all the expense? Yes. Fine. If it's not income, it's not enough to cover, you have to do what you call it adjustment. Okay, you adjust. Means some expenses you can reduce in case we have deficit. Okay, or you need to increase your income. Okay, or you need to reallocate the resources. Okay, so either one of these three in case of deficit. Okay, in case of surplus, okay, you plan how to be best utilize the excess fund. Now you have extra fund. So how this fund you can utilize? For example, you need to reinvest in a growth opportunity or strengthen your reserve. So either one. Now I calculate my total income for this year is 100 million. My total expense for this year is 70 million. So now I have extra how much? 30 million. Extra than what I need. Now for this 30 million, what are you going to do with it? Okay. And this 30 million is only 30 million for 1 year. Okay, now for this money in this 1 year, how to best utilize it? Do I have to reinvest somewhere or I have to keep it in my reserve? And to do investment for this money, you have to do what you call it capital budgeting. Okay, I will do a capital budgeting. 30 million. Where is the best place to invest this 30 million? Do I have to buy shares? Do I have to replace one of my old machines? Okay, so there's something need to be done. You don't keep it in your bank account as for the bank to be used and give you nothing or very small income. Okay. This one you have to maximize or utilize it to the maximum level by investing in the projects or in the investment that give you higher return possible. Okay, that's what you case deficit. But in case we have surplus, in case we have deficit, means you run out of money. Now the figures you can play with, either to increase your revenue, if it's possible, to cover this shortage, or you have to reduce your expenses. Okay, or you need to do what we call reallocation of your resources. This is the only three solutions you can do in case of deficit. You find out you have deficit, but in case you find surplus, so have to do something with your. So what we said here, what people said here about the money. If you have money, there's a problem. If you don't have money, you have a problem. But if you have money, you have two problems. Okay. Money have two problems. No money, only one problem. No money. That's. But if you have money now, they have two problems. Okay, the money itself and how to keep it. So how to keep this money and how to grow this money, keep and grow. So this is another problem. People said, okay, or that man have a money, that person has enough money, too much money. He has so many problems than you. Okay, then we need to plan for what you call it your financial management, means we implement controls to monitor financial performance. Actually, your task is about this controlling. Are you in the finance department in that company, right?
Yeah.
So in finance you have how many
People?
sections?
Actually, we have 2 sections. We just got restructured. So finance department, there's 2. One unit is called finance operation and procurement, and the other unit would be IT and management. Actually, IT, data and management. Yeah.
Accounting in Udil.
Accounting, as in we do the finance operations under the finance operation.
Financial accounting, no?
Financial accounting.
They prepare the reports.
Prepare journal vouchers, prepare payment
All under
vouchers.
this one.
But recently got my task is that was my task previously, but then now it's been pulled out. I'm doing budget control.
Under this finance and procurement. Right?
Under this finance operations and procurement. Yeah.
Your background, study background?
Accounting and finance.
Accounting and finance.
Yeah.
Degree in accounting.
Yes, degree in accounting.
Master, right?
No, didn't get the time to.
Not enough time.
No, because I get married after, and then I haven't got the chance to like continue my study.
Good lad. Good, really good lad. You know, it's like that. You know, life is very short. You know, spend all for study. When you're going to have family, all these things. As long as you get job, that's it.
Yeah.
Family, it's not a loss actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I get to attend training like this.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
You know, you got the latest, you know, development in the industry or in this area.
Yeah.
You think you want to study in 1 year, 6 months, you get it in few hours.
Yes, that's true.
That's the benefit of this training. So you update your knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you talk about budget, we have few approaches when it comes to the budgeting. Incremental, like what all the people are doing, which is a base of what they call traditional budgeting is all incremental. Like for example, last year, so how much is increase?
Yeah.
So you take the figure of incremental percentage, how much increase compared to the last year? So I increase by the same percentage for this year. Okay, your sales is 1 million. Now is 1.2 last year. This year, so increased by about 1.2%. This year have to increase by 1.2%. Okay. Same things for your expenses.
Yeah.
I have, for example, sales expenses, for example, 800,000, then go to 900,000. So how much increase by 100? So you have to find the percentage of increase. Okay, it's about 12%, 12% or 1.2, 1.12. So you type this year by 1.12. So you will get it, you know, 1.12. For example, like this one here. You explain this one is like, okay, your sales, like first year, second and third. Okay, this for example for the sales. Last year is 1.0 million. This one 1.1 million. Now I want to find for this year. So how much my sales? So incremental means you take into account this one 1 million, this one 1.2. So increase by what? 100,000. Divide by the base. So 100,000 or 0.1 divide by 1.0, right? Base here. So the increase will be 10%, right? Means you have to type this one by 10%. So 1.1 type 10%, you'll get 1.1 1.11 left. Is it 1.21?
1.21 is it?
I think so. So it's increased by this percentage.
1.21, correct.
1.21. So the third year, you compare, see how much increased by 10%. It's all be 10%. It means this one you tie by 1.10%, 1.2 every year. This is what we call it. The same things you can say do for the expenses. So this is what we call it incremental approach. Okay, which is being usually based on the historical data we have here. Okay, and this one is it's very traditional way. They ignore any the factors for your market conditions, for your competitors, for the anything market share, pricing. They ignore all. They assume everything is as it is, okay, but they do it this way. Then they have what they call it, the other one approach we have, we call it fixed ceiling budget. This fixed ceiling budget is the most spending limit is the set up by the top executive before the unit is divisional manager develop the what you call budget proposal for the area. Okay, I give you a limit. Okay, for your spending, for your expenses, these items or this expense should not, go to this much, higher than this much. You can spend whatever you want, but it's up to this level. So you give them, they call it uppermost spending. Okay, this uppermost spending you cannot exceed. Okay, and this one is not practical, So everybody can spend up to that level.
So meaning they just like give like a budget, uppermost spending limit. So you give me 500,000 like that. So you need to spend it.
Yeah, you cannot exceed. Whatever I give you, you cannot exceed. So we did our budget based on, because especially this one happened in the public sector.
Okay.
In the public sector, for every what you call it expenses, they have limit. Okay, should not exceed that limit. Okay, so you can put your budget from 0 up to that limit. So you cannot exceed.
Okay.
Why? Because they want to because they have what we call it in their budget here, the public one. They have the figure, okay, and you look at the bigger approach, okay, or the micro level, the government, for example, for healthcare, they have figure for healthcare, like for example, 1 billion, okay, 1 billion. This 1 billion they have to allocate to the states, okay, how many states we have. So there is a one figure for every state. Your state is, for example, 100 million. So you give me a plan or your budget within this 100 million. Okay. Me now, I want to prepare my plan for the state. So this 100 million, I have to allocate it to the different expenses for the state. So I put limit for everyone, for every one of these items I have in my budget. So I said, okay, for example, for the government hospitals, all hospitals we have 10 hospitals, every hospital will get 1 million, 1 million, 1 million, 1 million. So up to 1 million I can pay you. If you exceed that one, cannot be paid. Okay. So this one here, what they try here, these people, they try because they have, for example, I know I cannot increase my sales. And the government, same thing. Government cannot increase their revenue than what they are, like, where does the revenue for the government come from? Come from the tax, okay, come from the custom, okay. It's come from these, the main two resources. Government don't do business, okay. So I know my total revenue, government know. So I want to make sure my budget, I don't want to have deficit in the budget. So I allocate this revenue and nobody exceed, please. If you exceed, it's your own problem. Don't ask for more money. So they use what you call fixed selling. Okay. The same thing, the third one here we call it flexible. Okay, which means that several financial plan, each for different program activity. For example, organization have few options in their budget and classify under scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3 that includes best case, applicable and worst case scenario. So this one is a more flexible, which means that, okay, actually sometimes this flexible budgeting, they allow you to use fund that are allocated for different activities when it's needed. Okay, later we'll show one example for this flexible budgeting. So, for example, I put in my fixed costs, okay, fixed expense is for example 10 million. Okay, I put 10 million. But now I'm already halfway of the year. Out of this 10 million, I spent only 1 million. So I have extra 9 million. And I know the remaining of this 9 million cannot be used. But now I have another place, I need some money urgently, and that operation cannot be run without this money. So they allow you to mobilize money from one to another because flexible.
Yep.
It's based on the need. Okay, it's not very rigid. Okay, it's more flexible here. And some in budgeting they prepare three budgeting. Okay, three. In worst case scenario, this will be our budget. In normal situation, this will be our budget. In worst case scenario, this will be other budget. Okay, so we are very flexible to use whichever happen. Okay, so it's gives that from the name is more flexible. So you won't hear the word of we run out of budget. Okay, Tada do it. They said in same right in your no money.
No money.
No money. So that's one because it's more flexible.
Yeah.
Another one they call it rollover budgeting. Okay, that's what we call it more dynamic budgeting, which means that revenue and expenses for the period greater than a year to be accommodated program larger than annual budget. Rollover, as you said here, like for example, in this one, we said, okay, we increase by 10%, right? This is what we call it. Now rollover, they don't do that. Okay, they use the historical data, yes. So this one increased by 10%. If you have, for example, 10 or 10 budgets here, it's all by 10. Okay, increased by 10. They look at this one, it's very outdated. Okay, why? Because they are based on the for example, this one has happened 10 years ago. Okay, so the rollover means I only take the most recent, data.
Yeah.
So my estimated would be very close to the reality. But if you use the one that happened 10 years ago, and some people are using, like for example, the total up. Okay, for example, this one here, 1.2. This one 1.4. Then you have year 4, 1.5. Then in year 5 you have 1.7. Okay, now the increase here is not by 10%. So what they do in the traditional costing, they total up all, then they divide by number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Divide by 5 years. So the outcome would be the budget for this year. Okay, but in rollover, no. So the outcome is you take the all. You see here, this one is 1 million. This one is 1.7. It's a huge gap. Okay, what they do, they take the last 2 years. What's the last 2 years? 1, which is 2 or 3.2, right? 3.2, right?
Yeah.
Divide by
1.5.
2. You have 2, right?
Oh, okay, okay.
So it would be 1.6. Is it? So sorry, 1.6.
Yeah.
This is what they call it rollover.
Mm.
But if you take the whole average, 1 plus 1.2, 1.4, you try. You see, you convert it to 1.1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Plus 1.2,
7.8, is it? 1 point?
6.8. 1.36.
1.36.
6.
And this 1 point?
6.
So there's a huge gap here.
Mm.
Your estimation by rollover, you get very close 1.6. But if you want to use historical data, incremental one, your estimation will be 1.36. Imagine you estimate your cost will be this much, okay? But your real cost actually is 1.6. So it was almost 300,000 gap here. Okay, only in one item. Okay, this only in one item. You have, tens of items in your budget. Imagine everybody have gaps 300,000, 200,000.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So at the end, in the budget, you find out there's a huge gap,
Yeah.
20 million between your actual and your actual and your estimated. Okay, your budget and actual, the gap will be 20 million. Or where is this 20 million come from? We run out of budget. Yes, you run out of budget because your estimation for your items is wrong. So that's the new techniques used for budgeting. Is one of these new solutions. We call it rollover. Rollover means you don't take into account the whole historical data, just the most recent one. Because recent one, okay, no matter how much is your expense for last year, this year will not be big different. Like this one, only 1 million. For example, imagine this one is the expense. 1 million spent. This year, 1.700,000 gap. Okay, but how you put these two figures to estimate something?
Yeah.
Which is a huge gap.
Yeah.
So there will be a huge gap here.
Yeah.
But if you took last recent, so it will be 1.6. So 240,000 gap.
Yeah.
And when you talk about budget, this 240,000 has become 24 million or become 240 million or can become something bigger than that. Okay, that's the rollover. Then you have what they call it performance budget. Okay, which is allocated based on the function, not in the division. They allocate a budget not based on the departments. Every departments have to have how much budget you have?
Yeah.
20 million. How many departments we have? 10. So you give 2 million each. Okay.
But for this one?
This one, no, it's based on the performance. You link the budget to the performance. Okay. Then the last one, we call it zero-based budgeting, okay, which is require manager to examine, justify each cost of every program, both old and new, every annual budget preparation. For example, budget for the customer service relationship program in organization. So in this zero budgeting, we look for all items on budget from the stretch. You come here for meeting for budget, marketing departments, how much you need for this year. We need 5 million. Okay. You point down with this, list down with this 20 million come from. How much you need. You give me all justification for every item you put there. Okay, this one is a time-consuming budget, but later on I will show you some companies, they are using this budget. Their condition, these companies are facing bankruptcy. Okay, they are going for bankruptcy. But once they use the zero budgeting, they become leading company in the market. Okay, because this one eliminate a lot of bad things in the spending. There's so many things when it comes to the spending unnecessarily it will eliminate. Okay, so because it's based on justification. We need for transportation for this year. Transportation will be 1 million. Okay, entertainments. There's a huge figure they put in budget for entertainment, but at the end they entertain nobody. But that money is gone. Okay, used for entertainment. Now your entertainment, what you want to, who you want to entertain, how many of them? Because everything is clear and in the program. We have team going to visit in this one, where you're going to stay. You rent them a car this much, the driver this much. They stay in the hotel, the cost for this hotel this much. So everything will be listed down in the very, very small item. Okay, then you accumulate all, and this one is always very close to the real. When you come to the budget later on, you compare the variance. The variance is close to zero. Why? Because it's based in the latest estimation, and also justified. Not like traditional one. In traditional one, everything's there because we have it last year. So expected this year going to be the same, and no year is similar to the year before. No year. Okay. Even the human, they are not same compared to the last year. So these are the things that must be really considered. This approach, especially you see the first three: incremental, fixed ceiling, flexible budget is still okay. Rollover and zero-based budget, these are the most recent approach used in the budgeting. Okay, these are the main 6 approach we have for the budgeting. And also we have this one, if you want curious to know what other software can be used for these budget solutions. We have all this one, more than 10, 15 software that can help to prepare our budgeting.
We're looking into ERP as well for this year's. It's in our budget.
This one?
It's in our
ERP core finance.
We wanted to have a system because currently we don't have any accounting software. So that is one of the things that we want to embark on for this financial year. That we wanted to. We actually have previously local, but then we had an issue because the system was not so stable for us to so we are looking into other software for this financial year.
Actually, company is big. Did they do the oil? They have oil rig.
We're not. We are actually regulator. We just started 2020. We just been appointed 2020. So mostly on technical advice and monitoring all the operators' activities. We're not actually the operators. We're just the regulatory bodies.
Regulatory body, and they represent the government.
Yes, correct.
Government, because
technical advisors.
Government have a lot of these oil rigs.
And
all done by the foreign companies.
Correct. So whoever the operators coming in, we will regulate them. So they have to go through our process as well.
And the ERP system is not only for finance purposes. It's only for management. It's related to HR.
Correct.
Related to procurement. Everything is there. So I don't know, but a bit expensive like this.
We're not looking into those the high because we're not our activity in terms of regulating. It's only on corporate level, not to the extent that we
you have also the compliance also.
Correct. We have compliance department.
Under your finance now?
No. previously it was finance and compliance, but due to the restructuring last year, it was separated into two different.
Now the company have two departments, right?
It's the company now we have finance department, compliance department, we have commercial department, we have upstream department, downstream department, and other support department, which is the HR, legal, HSSE, safety, and internal audit would be a different.
The police.
And MD office. MD office would be the managing director's office.
Right.
That is
Huge,
a unit
it's
as
a big company, yeah. More about 100
Yeah, 100.
altogether, right?
Yeah, 100 staff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And some of these, softwares can be used also for what they call it, forecasting.
Correct.
Mm.
Like reporting,
Yeah.
forecast. Our previous company we used SAP, but it was too.
SAP anywhere.
The first SAP. I mean, I think the SAP.
But the first version.
Yeah, the old version, SAP 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one.
Actually, this software, this one, is very highly needed in the companies, because the documents, now everything is digitalized. Everything in the digital, not like old style.
Yeah.
The documents has to be traveled from one department. No, now it's, if you want anything, any signature, everything is sent to the person directly in the system.
Yeah.
So it's very helpful actually. The system is not because we pay too much, this one more expensive. No, actually you are be more efficient.
Yeah.
Systems help you for efficiency. Okay, because task maybe you send to someone, you go to collect from him, he is not around. You go here, you go there,
Yeah,
then the whole your day, you drag the whole day and waiting for his response.
Yeah.
But in this system, it's just sent at the spot, and he get notification in the spot.
Yeah.
And he cannot deny it. And not only that, this system, they have dashboard.
Yes.
For everyone, any of these documents, where it is. Okay. And there is a proof.
Yep.
Who's
There's
delayed?
audit trail.
Yes. Who's delayed this transaction?
Yeah.
So nobody want to be blamed for anything. So that's
everybody becomes efficient.
Become efficient.
Yeah.
And we work we achieve our work in very short period. Okay, the things that takes one whole week can be done in the same day.
Yeah.
Okay. The resource will be allocated efficiently. Okay. Time consumed also is about costs, or budget is also about the time.
Yeah.
Okay. In short period. Okay, yes, we subscription for any software is, but if you only look for the amount you pay there.
Yeah.
Okay, but you don't look to the benefit.
Correct.
That you get from that.
It's the value that it adds to
Yes.
the company.
And that's why many companies now they are turning towards what they call it automation. Okay, they do what they call it automation. This is one of the automation, process.
Yeah.
Okay, so everything is done by the machine.
Yeah.
Send, collect, and only send. These systems give you the track for any documents is very clear.
Yeah.
Like I want to get approval about this transaction.
Yeah.
You cannot send it wrongly to third different person,
Yeah.
because the system already said this message or
It's
this
only
to get approval from this person.
Yeah.
So that's the good things about the software. Saving our time, do it in an efficient way, go to the right person. Responsibility, we talk about accountability. Okay, it's very easy to determine or identify who's accountable for this task and who's not. So that's what the whole this new what you call it, the automation try to do is just to make it that way, which is the system's already done. Okay, now how to evaluate budget software. So we look, this is for people who are actually in the IT departments, which is first what is the functional requirements?
We do
Is
this
as
as well.
yes, is it able to meet our core budget needs? Condition here budget creation, forecasting, all these the task you need in the budgeting. Support for different budget types and planning scenario. Easy to use. You know, some systems are very very good, but it's very complicated to use, not friendly to use.
Yeah.
Okay, so the system has to be very easy to use in order for our staff to, you know, because once the system become more complicated, the chance for error is too high. Okay, it's all about that. It's not easy that, oh, you have to be very smart to use the system. It's not a point for you're smart or not. The company, everybody can use the system. But now I want the system that easy to use, because for the task to be achieved in the short period. Second things, to reduce the chance for errors to happen. Okay. Integration capability, can you integrate it with other system you are using or software or not? You know, because sometimes people are using software only for forecasting. Okay, so the forecasting software, is it able to be integrated with your currency? Because I don't want to change my whole system. I'm okay with everything, but in this software I am using, there is some problem with forecasting. So I find another software that can do the job very well. Okay, so now this software, can I integrate with the current one or not? Scalability and flexibility. Okay, ability to handle increasing data and volume, because sometimes, like one of the software I used recently, you know, for website, for the, what do you call it, translation. You translate from one language to another. You subscribe for that one, and then you identify later on your package is only you can translate up to 10,000 words. After that, it won't translate. So it'll be a pair in different language. So and they count by words, you know.
Okay.
So you don't know about that.
Yeah.
That's what you call it about scalability. You cannot do it this way.
Yeah.
You subscribe or not subscribe, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't count the words.
Yeah.
So the some software are like that, you know. Collaboration and workflow management. For example, evaluate the tools for multi-user environment. So the consideration here, because role-based access, approval, workflow, and commenting features. Okay, so this software have to have collaboration and support this workflow with other users, and to get approval from what relevant parties. So these are the features that we need to consider. Your system has to be functional, friendly use, can be integrated, scalability and more flexible, collaboration and workflow management. So if it meet these criteria, so it can be used, considered to use. But if it doesn't meet all these criteria, so you forget about it. Because whatever you get, you solve one problem, but you create 3 or 4 problems. You know, so you just ignore the system. Okay, then we have also what they call it reporting and data analysis. Have depth and quality of the reporting, automated and efficiency, check the features that automate repetitive tasks. Security and compliance, very very important, because nowadays most of the companies, they don't accept any software to be used for the employees. You know, because these softwares are not secure. Like what you said yesterday, you cannot open even the file. You know,
Yeah.
PowerPoint file
Yeah.
without permission.
Yeah.
So why they do that? is it because they don't trust the employees? No, because that's about security. So there's something can come with these files, and all the system would be upside down. So security is very, very important. Nowadays is everything's about scam. Even they scam you by using the police name, they're using any names. So the security is very, very important for this. And we have what they call it value and costs. Sometimes it's too expensive, and the benefit you get is nothing compared with the costs. Okay, so you have to do what we do, cost benefit analysis, vendor support and training. Sometimes it's a good software, but this require a lot of like for example, even those software, they don't have expert in your area. Okay, your stuff to be used, you need to be trained. Okay, so all these things you have to bear in mind when you want to use any software. Oh, I like. There's nobody use software because he likes the software, but because that software meet all these criteria. Okay, this is about class books. Okay.